Welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at a new Horus Heresy Space Wolf Caster of Runes. I had to double check just then what it actually was because I forgot. I was going to say Rune Priest. I mean, it's still technically the same thing, right? Look, this is a day late, but only because the cruel winds of fate mangled me yesterday and I couldn't record. However, we're back in action, so let's have a look at this lad. I'm quite excited about this because the last few Horus Heresy Thursdays... Horus Heresy Thursdays? Why did I make it longer than it already was? Heresy Thursdays have been like, here's how you paint a guy, or look, weapons that we already saw but attached to models now. No one cares. That's not true. People do care, but I want models. I just want models, alright? Even Warhammer, like, it's time we saw an actual Space Marine. Okay? It's time we saw one of these. It's been a while. This is the Caster of Runes. He's a Legion Consul. The picture's tiny. There we go. I quite like this. I quite like it. The helmet is... I don't know how to feel about the helmet, right? I do think it's cool, but the angular parts of the helm are really throwing me off. It looks uncanny. It's like an Uncanny Valley Space Marine helmet, where it's overall the right shape, and it's overall like the right vibe, but those angular sections just... It makes it look like it's not been made by Games Workshop, which is, funnily enough, the same thing that we talked about when it came to the actual, like, wolf heads for the Space Wolves, where it kind of felt right, but also like it's not been made by the company that makes this stuff. And I'm getting the same sort of feeling from that helmet, which in a way is silly because I actually quite like it. It looks aggressive. It looks commanding. It's quite different to most of the other helmets that are available. It has its own like kind of personality to it. So I do like it. It's just kind of... I think the thing is, it's kind of at odds with the rest of the model, right? So when you look at the axe, when you look at the vambraces there, when you look at the pauldrons, everything is quite rounded, quite flowing. There are a lot of curves, there are a lot of softer edges. And then the helm, you've just got this angular section, dead centre, which is quite at odds with almost everything else. The only thing it's not really at odds with is the staff, which I do like that marrying of... You got that kind of big rune thing that the skull is attached to, but that is mimicked by the symbol on the helmet. I think that's a nice bit of symmetry. I actually think that works super well. And it does line it up a bit more with the armour. There's also a bit more angular stuff going on the belt too, which does help. But yeah, I feel like my eye is drawn there, which is not a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing. Overall, I mean, this is quite a nice mini. I like the pauldrons, they look great. The tubing coming up over the chest is really nice. You've got the kind of Psyker hood coming up over the top with a bit of decoration on there as well. I really like the staff. The staff is very cool. It looks a little bit sort of... I don't know if it's just me, whether I haven't had quite enough coffee yet, but it looks a little bit on the wonk from the hand upwards, but I could be totally wrong about that. Then again, even if it is, I don't know that I mind. In fact, I think probably the way that they've done the wrapping around the wood of the staff, it makes it look very natural for like the haft of it, but then the top and the bottom are kind of encased in metal with actual mechanisms on there. I actually think that's quite a nice sort of... It's quite a nice mix of styles there. You've got what looks like wood, but then attached to that is a power weapon feeling like generator and cable and stuff. But then you've still got like the sort of rune stones and chains. There's a cool mix of styles going on here. I think they've done a decent job with this. For a second, I thought the handle on the axe was in fact a like a femur or something, or just a bone, but it's not. It's just got a little dragon's head carved into the end of it. Dragon's head? More likely to be a wolf's head, isn't it? More likely to be a wolf's head. Let's be honest. I'm not sure why I went dragon with that. The breastplate's got that nice sort of carving in it. The carving is in a couple of places, but it's not everywhere, so it's not making the model too busy. Got a nice mix of like normal cloth and fur going on at the waist. I really like this. The more I look at it, the more it's growing on me, and I was already thinking that it's pretty cool anyway. We have an alternate angle where we can see a few more bits. Oh, I do like the close-up on the axe. That's a cool axe. That's a good axe. They've done good with that axe. I really like that close-up on the helmet. That's really showing some nicer eye lens painting detail there as well. They've done a good job with that. I'm wondering, since we have got very limited views, did they not paint the back of this one? Maybe they didn't paint the back of it. We basically got close-ups of bits that we could see on the front, which I was kind of hoping for a view of the back, but this is fine too. This is alright. The nice spiky pauldron does look good. Just goes to show you don't need to be chaos to have a bit of spikage. Alright, you can have a bit of spikage if you're loyal. It's the intent of the spikage. I suppose technically that's more like reinforcement studs or whatever they're called than spiky spikes, but still. Oh, I hadn't even really noticed that you've got it on like the like greaves as well. I hadn't realised that it's there too. But that's, again, it looks good. It looks really nice. I really like those carvings. Those carvings on the chest and the arm, and then there's a bit on one of the legs as well. Like, not overdone, just enough to know that they're there. They add a lot to it, but it's not like super busy. It just stands out just the right amount. Oh, I'm liking this guy. I'm liking him. This is a solid model. This is a solid Space Marine. Obviously, there are a lot of solid Space Marines. We get Space Marines fairly frequently. Not, constant inundation these days. But even by the standards of a good solid Space Marine, this one, it's nice. It's really nice. Plus, it's not a tank, which, I feel like a lot of you are going to be happy about that if you're Horus Heresy players. I know technically it's one guy for one legion that you might not play, but if there's one thing that I've noticed, it's every time they reveal more tanks, the overall sentiment from the actual Horus Heresy players in the comments tends to be, that's cool. What about all this other stuff that we actually need for this game that is largely infantry in our experience? Like, any chance of that? So maybe this is a lean back towards less tankage, more Space Marinage. Neither of those are words. Terrible. Anyway, let me know what you think of this, lad, in the comments down below. Feel free to click all of the things, as always, and I will see you for the next one.